Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome to the March 10th, 2015 meeting of the Village of Rhinebeck Board of Trustees. I know we have a couple guests here tonight to talk about our fire hydrants, and we also have County Legislator Joel Tyner. He typically speaks to us first and then runs out to the town of Clinton, so we'll let him have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I really appreciate that. I just, respecting all speed limits, got here kind of quickly after the Poughkeepsie Town Hall. There was a New York State Public Service Commission public hearing on Central Hudson wants another rate hike. Yeah, I'll try to be quick. I have some handouts about that rate hike. Central Hudson's been making tens of millions of dollars in profits for many years running, and I urge everybody to go to the websites for citizensforlocalpower.com, nobodyleavesmidhudson.org. There was just about all the Democrats in the county legislature, and yes, even Mike Kelsey last December signed a letter that I circulated saying the taxpayers of Dutchess County, we don't need, we don't want, we will not tolerate another rate hike. And so there's still an opportunity for the village to weigh in. For anybody in this room, listening, watching, you email secretary@dps.ny.gov. I see Village Board Member Cruikshank is here. I want to give Scott some credit because a few months ago, maybe November, December, Scott was like, wow, here's one thing we need to do. Ulster County just passed this legislation, the animal protection law. So if animals are going to be tethered outside, make sure it's done safely. And I submitted the legislation, and then it wasn't allowed onto the agenda. Then some other folks from the other parties' names were on it, but we're sort of getting together. It did not, I don't know if you found out, Scott, it did not get passed last night because, but it looks like it's going to get passed in the next month or two because some folks have some concerns that there's like a doghouse stipulation that basically if you're going to put an animal on a tether outside, that there be kind of an actual doghouse. But I've been working on trying to get the county legislature to be a little bit more open and transparent. You should just be able to go to the county legislature website like 5-10 years ago and click on a link, and you see there's the agenda. It's kind of hidden now. You have to click on calendar events and all that. Anyway, so okay, there you go.
Thank you.
No, thank you, because you were the one that put the bee in my bonnet, and they at this past Thursday's committee day, they kind of, I think they didn't mean to, but they admitted basically that you and I sort of got the ball rolling. I did get 2 other letters signed in the county legislature last night as well. One is has to do with Clinton, Milan, and Red Hook about the power lines and the work of Scenic Hudson, and there's actually no need. It's been demonstrated by Dr. Gideon Eschel, and there's no need for the AC transmission upgrade. But besides that, if you missed Sunday's Poughkeepsie Journal, Dutchess County is not doing too well as far as job growth over the last decade. And I don't think it's a bad idea to think outside the box and look at some innovative ways to create jobs. And so a bunch of us last night signed a letter that I circulated for a new economy task force for Dutchess County. We're having our first meeting this coming Friday, the March 13th at 4:30 p.m. on the 6th floor of the county office building. You're all invited to be a part of it. There's been a lot written about the whole kind of new economy movement. I'm not going to take a lot of time here. I'll just say that even the Northern Dutchess Alliance has talked about lowest locally owned import substitution. Cleveland's doing it. Chicago's doing it. Saugerties has looked at it. 7 years ago, the Northern Dutchess Alliance recommended it. If you look at the Blueprint for Economic Development, lowest is you bring the colleges, the universities, the hospitals, the big institutions, the big players, the big business, government. You bring the big boys and the big gals, whatever. You bring the all around the table. You say, okay, what are you purchasing from outside Dutchess County that maybe we could and should be purchasing from here? And then we start some local businesses that are going to supply the big boys, the local businesses, and that works. Anyway, so there's a lot of other things about it, but if you go to my website, duchessdemocracy.blogspot.com, all the details are there. thrilled that the county executive a few weeks ago in the State of the County address actually mentioned 4 things that that are going to be reality, that I've been proposing for a long time. For many, many years, I've said county property and buildings should have solar panels. Now there's going to be a massive solar array, in the county airport. I will say that practically everybody I know in the solar industry says Solar City is not the company to be working with, and also there should be a real open, honest RFP bidding process. But I'm glad some solar is happening. It should be happening everywhere. Westchester, Orange, Ulster counties, they have gotten into the New York State Energy Improvement Corporation, which is businesses getting energy efficiency retrofits and solar, no money down, cash positive. And I wanted to give you, Mr. Mayor, some credit. I know you tried to call me back today. We played phone tag. Everybody in this room probably knows Steve Rosenberg here in the village, number 2 guy at Scenic Hudson. He has been floating an idea, I guess other people have been floating an idea for community solar. It's a proposal now before the Public Service Commission, part of the Reforming the Energy Vision, the REV. And I spoke with Andy Imperati at the fairgrounds. He's been looking at it. The idea is, and I'm trying to gather interest and support, because so many homes here in the village, it's kind of hard, if not impossible, really difficult to do solar because of all the beautiful trees, and I'm not advocating for the trees to be taken down. And I don't live in Rhinebeck, I live in Clinton, but as your county legislator, I'm just putting it out there. I would love to assist if we can make a community solar project happen. If we could, massive solar array on the fairgrounds property or somewhere else, so that people who wanted to go green in the village could go green. It would take everybody working together, so I just thought I'd put that out there. California has community solar. We need it in New York State. That's the only thing. Tomorrow night at 5:30, I'm screening a movie. It's called The House I Live In. It's about the failed war on drugs. John Legend, Russell Simmons, Danny Glover executive produced it. Please don't miss that. Gary's friend Fred Nagel is supplying the DVD projector. That's The House I Live In tomorrow night, 5:30, Rhinebeck Town Hall across the way. And we're doing our 5th Rhinebeck Town Hall Repair Cafe. Bring your beloved but broken stuff fixed for free. And that's Saturday, March 28th, noon to 4 p.m. at Rhinebeck Town Hall. And thanks to Rhinebeck Reformed Church for supplying the tables. And Bruce Washburn always helps get the tables back and forth. So thank you very much for your patience.
Thanks, Joel. So our next topic will be the fire hydrants. Normally that would probably fall under our water department report, but considering we have some guests that we invited to talk about this, we're going to do it first so you guys can be on your way. As you know, the Village of Rhinebeck operates a municipal water system that serves the village as well as some properties in Rhine Cliff, well, most of the properties in Rhine Cliff, and other smaller areas in the town. And in addition to providing potable water, the system allows for fire protection via fire hydrants, which some are located outside of the village. We have 62 in Rhine Cliff, and we have 19 hydrants in other locations throughout the town. And those 19 will be the topic of our discussion tonight. And I thank you. I think all of our guests tonight are either town residents or representing businesses located in a town in the vicinity of one of these 19 hydrants. That's why we reached out to you. So for some historical perspective, the town of Rhinebeck has paid a small fee to the village for each of these reference hydrants since at least 1955. So with 60 years of this relationship well documented, we're pretty comfortable that this is not a new concept. In 1989, the rate was changed at the last time to $300 a year. The town supervisors have quoted this number to be $300 a month, but indeed it is $300 as an annual fee for each of the hydrants. So the town has paid this fee for the last 25 years, and the village has not requested an increase in all that time. And to be very clear, we're not requesting an increase at this time either. The $300 fee includes maintenance, testing, and replacement of the hydrant when necessary, as well as virtually unlimited access to water in the case of a fire. There's no added fee for the actual water use. It's not metered. As an example, the cost to replace a hydrant is approximately $6,000 and maybe thousands more, depending on the location and other variables. And to get to the point, on February 23rd, the Rhinebeck Town Board voted 4-0 to not pay this fee for all 19 hydrants located in the town, other than those in Rhine Cliff. After recognizing the importance of fire protection and the immeasurable benefit provided to nearby residents by these hydrants for more than 60 years, the town board has chosen to change course. Trustee Sauer, over the past few years, has taken on the challenge of evaluating our water system and planning for upgrades to our distribution system. And during this process, flow rates have been tested at hydrants at various locations throughout the system, and all of this available data has been provided to the town. The NFPA, or the National Fire Protection Association, publishes guidelines for desired and effective flow rates, as well as just about everything else related to fire service. So of these 19 hydrants in question, there are 4 hydrants located on Old Post Road and Mill Road, which are suspected to fall below the desired standards. The town has labeled these as useless to them and have suggested that they would prefer to see these hydrants removed than to pay a fee to guarantee access to the immediate neighbors. I've consulted with the Rhinebeck and Hillside Fire Chiefs as well as our emergency management coordinator, who is shared between the village and the town, and all are in agreement that when a home or structure is burning, some water is certainly better than no water. The town has asserted that the hydrant located near the village garage on 308 and one located near the reservoir on Hiley Road pose a benefit only to these village-owned properties. I would suggest that town residents near this area may feel otherwise. To be clear, these hydrants are not located behind locked fences, and in the case of the Hiley Road hydrant, it is located some 300 feet from the reservoir property and are available to the fire department at all times. The town claims that some of the 11 hydrants located on Hiley and North Hinterlands roads are unnecessary and that they would prefer that some be removed rather than to pay the $300 per hydrant to continue this protection for their residents. They are dismissing the decision of the town planning board that was issued approving the infrastructure plan for this development some 25 years ago. In addition to the obvious benefit of fire protection offered by these hydrants, the presence of hydrants directly affects homeowners' insurance rates, and I'm sure business insurance rates as well. A nearby hydrant equals a lower risk of property loss and therefore a lower rate. The removal of a single hydrant could cost nearby homeowners much more than $300 per year. It has been suggested that only those living in the immediate vicinity of a hydrant benefit from their existence, and therefore it's unfair to those that don't live nearby. In fact, the hydrants on the edge of the hydrant district, such as those referenced above on Route 308, Hiley Road, Old Post Road, and Claus Drive, offer a great benefit to residents of the entire town. When you do not have a fire hydrant within reach via hose, these are the locations that our fire trucks use to fill their tanks that bring water to your fire. For example, in the last few years, tens of thousands of gallons of water have been trucked from Hiley Road to a fire on Route 9G and from Claus Drive to a fire on Route 9 near the Hillside Fire Department. Lastly, the town has suggested that because no contract exists, they see no reason to pay the bill. It is our position that a more than 60-year history of billing and payment history establishes a legal precedence. That said, I've asked our attorney, Rich, to draft the necessary contract. I'd also like to note that the village and town have exchanged services for many years, not just for fire hydrants and water, for probably as long as the two governments existed, often without contracts. Currently, we share other services that are not covered by contracts. In reviewing the town board meeting from February 23rd, thanks to our friends at Panda, I heard the supervisor, and requested the board to hold payment, claim that she made multiple requests for information from myself related to these hydrants and fire service. The flow rates for every hydrant that has been tested in the town were provided in December to the town by Trustee Sauer and confirmed to be reviewed with our emergency management coordinator shortly thereafter. The town has been provided all the information they've requested, and we've provided them with the same call data that we report on every month at this meeting during our fire department report. I've suggested to the town that they contact the county directly if they would wish to collect or further analyze raw data as it relates to fire calls anywhere in the town. As a board, I think I speak for us, we recognize that our first priority is to provide for the safety and security of our residents, and are surprised and disappointed at this decision reached by the town board. Your safety should never fall secondary to dollars or be used as a pawn in a political game. This attempt to save $5,700 is extremely short-sighted, and if you feel the same, I would suggest that you contact Supervisor Spinzia and request that she follow the example set by previous supervisors over the last 60 years and take your safety seriously. Thank you. If anyone would like questions or comments, we will. So that's the story. Hope that summarized it well. If there are no questions, we'll go right on to our department reports.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
From what you're saying then, when you come to the microphone?
Yeah, come on to the microphone and, please identify yourself for us.
Ronald Whitmont, and my office is at 6250 Route 9.
Okay.
Right as you come down the gateway area.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to understand what you're saying is going to happen. So you're saying that the town, the village, has decided not to pay the water.
Other way around.
The other way around.
Yeah.
The town has decided not to pay the water
Right.
fees. And if nothing else is done, these hydrants are going to be removed. That's what you're telling us?
That's what the town has suggested, that, hey, we're not going to pay for them if you don't like it. And this is a paraphrase, if you don't like it, you can remove the hydrants. We don't see them as necessary or beneficial to the community and the residents in that neighborhood.
Okay.
We're not, at this moment, threatening to remove you're not going to see your hydrant dug up in the next week. We're hoping that by informing the residents of the town that would be affected, that, you could reach out to the supervisor and maybe let the town board know if you feel strongly that you would like the hydrants to be kept. And maybe a voice from, other than from myself or our board, would help the town board possibly reconsider their decision. Because I'm guessing you didn't know about this.
No,
until-
I just
Yeah.
heard there was something to do with hydrants, and
Yeah.
I should come hear what it was.
So they selected out of their, all of their vouchers for the month, they selectively removed the payment, which, like I said, has been paid for 60-some years, to remove it and say, we're not going to pay this anymore. And for some of those reasons that I mentioned.
And so now they're saying they're going to pay the cost of removing each hydrant, which is going to be $6,000 per hydrant?
No, they certainly have not offered to pay any removal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And has there been any discussion about passing along the costs of this to the taxpayers in terms of keeping the hydrants, but just spreading the cost out?
Yeah, that would be up to, Rich could speak to that better, but Rhine Cliff, for instance, is a hydrant district, so on their bill, they get a separate line item
I
for the
see.
hydrants in the district. So there is, I guess, some potential, but we can't do that. That would come from the town, I believe.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Because you're not village residents, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you give us contact information for Supervisor Spinzia? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
can-
new in town, so
Sure.
I don't know how to contact her.
Okay, the town building's right across the street here on
Yes, I
Center
know
Street?
what that
And
is.
Okay, and the phone number's 876-3409?
Yes.
That's the town hall, the best place to reach them.
I know the
It's
email for the clerk.
SPINZIA?
Correct.
Correct.
And your name, sir?
My name is Marvin Litsky, 304 Route 308. But there is no threat to remove the hydrant.
We haven't reached that point yet. We figured we would, reach out to you, to the residents, to the public, before we took any drastic measures to answer their.
So if they
I know.
don't remove the hydrants, they just stay there? And they
Well, right now
continue- And they continue working?
Yeah, right now the hydrants are there, and they have a full supply of water. The village has not, elected to react to their, refusal to pay. And this is only a couple.
It would cost $6,000 of hydrant to remove?
Well, to replace a
Is that-
hydrant would cost about $6,000. Heinz might be able to speak to the removal.
The removal is probably about $3,000 to $4,000, depending on what kind of hydrant it is. If these are older hydrants and don't have a shut-off valve in front of it, one has to go and do what's called a wet tap, You have to go in first, shut off the water, and then take the hydrant out, and that can cost another $2,000 or
Okay,
so.
because I don't know what type is at the highway department. I didn't even know there was a hydrant there.
Well, there you have a shut-off valve at a highway department. But this is really not just a highway department. This particular hydrant that is just happened to be located there
I see.
is part of the old system, the old water line that came down from the reservoir and then feeds into Route 308. And there's about 6 to 8 houses in that vicinity that hydrant can serve. That are in the immediate vicinity there on 308. And that's about the only hydrant in the neighborhood on 308. And we just replaced it about 6 months ago. We put a new one in there, new hydrant in there.
Because it doesn't seem to make sense to me that they would even want to remove it when it costs so much to remove.
The only thing I want to say that at some point, if this is, we have the ability to shut the water off, because we cannot just let a hot water line there that is not being used. If something ever happens and somebody breaks it, we have huge water losses there. So it behooves us that if we know that the hydrant is not being used, we can actually shut the water off to that hydrant.
I see, but it doesn't seem to make sense to me to shut it off, because it doesn't seem to make sense to even remove it. I mean, it just seems to cost too much.
Yeah, that's
No, it doesn't make any sense to any of us either, and we're talking a total of $5,700 per year that's in question.
Or
That was their
82
refusal.
82 cents per day per hydrant.
For a hydrant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
Gee, I wish I lived in the village.
You're very close, aren't you?
I am close. I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed and upset. And
I'm sorry,
probably
what's your
kind-
name?
Mark Van de Kar.
Oh, man, okay.
And probably a little pissed. So, yeah, they're going to hear from me. I don't understand how you stop paying a bill that you pay for 60 years. And you guys provided the service. It's not like you reneged on any of that. It's all
No, we're not
done.
looking for an
They've all
increase.
done what you're supposed to
No.
do. They've been paying the bill for 60 years and they just stopped.
Right.
I'll find out what moron did this, and they're gonna have like a lot rain down on them, because this is stupid. All right, to not have a fire hydrant for how much? 82 cents?
82 cents
A day.
82 cents a day?
Yeah.
That's really twisted. So,
And the thing that's important, and Brian's back there, and Brian's a member of the fire department, these are points where they refill the tanker trucks when they need to go to a fire
right,
where there
right.
isn't.
I get it. The further they have to go to fill them up, the longer it takes for turnaround time. I get it.
Exactly right.
Yeah, yep. Well, thank you for dealing with the town. It may change a bit.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm Oliver Silva. I work for the Beacon Arms, and I guess this affects our motel at the entrance to the village. This is all new to me. From a business perspective, I have great concerns. Now, I will share the information that I hear here today with the owners of the property. I'm sure we'll be contacting them. And I share the same sentiments that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, thanks for coming. Anybody else? No? All right, thanks, everybody, for coming. What's that?
I'm surprised there's no more people from the town.
Yeah, I think Pat reached out, left about, what?
I left messages or called about 50 people.
Yeah, we got the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody that's here had my voice on your answering machine, or I talked to you. You're welcome. I wanted the public, the mayor asked me to reach out to as many people as I could that live, and that's what I did.
Nope.
We'll get in touch with them.
Yeah, please let your neighbors know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Pat, do you have a treasurer's report?
Yeah.
Is it in here?
I had it in the front.
Okay.
How come I don't have one? Don't I have one?
It's in there, it's in there.
That's for heat, he doesn't have one.
Where would it be? What-
In the front.
Oh, no, mine's not
Right
in
after the
there.
first tab.
Mine's not in there.
Xavier. Sure. Are you going to sit through the rest of the meeting, Xavier? Okay. What is it that it's for class, right? What's the Sure. Xavier's here as a part of a class that he, what's the class that you're in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the first, everybody in your grade is supposed to come to a public meeting, right? You're the first one that's came. And I asked my son tonight, when are you coming? You only have a couple more months left.
You're lucky you got the signature before the end of the meeting.
Well, no, he's going to stay.
Oh, okay.
And Xavier's my next door neighbor, just so.
Oh, okay. So
Thank you, Xavier.
Thanks for coming. So our treasurer's report, in the general fund, we have about 160,000, capital equipment reserve, 520. Water, 486, sewer, 660, for a total of 1.98 million. Our vouchers for the month, general, 48,000 change, water, 22,000 change, and sewer, 19,000 and change. We have a series of budget workshops we've already started a while back, but we're still working through it. The tentative budget will be filed with the village clerk on March 20th, and the final budget will be approved by May 1st. I think we will set a public hearing for our budget and also for the tax cap override. It'll be at we'll include it in the public hearing, but that's not saying we're going to override it. We're just going to include the discussion at that public hearing. So I'd like to set that public hearing for April 7th at 7 p.m.
Say it again.
April 7th, 7 p.m. Do I need to have a motion for that, Rich? Can we just announce it? Okay. That's my motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. In that, follow on with that, I'd like to make a motion to reschedule the April meeting, which would normally be on the 14th, and reschedule that to the 7th. The new term starts the first Monday in April, which would be the 6th at noontime. So I would like to schedule that for the 7th, 7 p.m., at which time we'll have our reorganization meeting and the regular meeting as well.
But this is the only occurrence on the first Tuesday.
Correct, yeah, it won't be for the whole year, it'll just be that meeting, the first meeting, the 7th of April.
So everything happens on the 7th of April, the budget
Yeah.
hearing and okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need to come back for a second time for the public hearing for that.
My second?
So, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So with that mention of the new term starting March 6th at noon time, I would just like to remind everyone that
April
there's...
6th.
What did I say?
You said March, April 6th.
Yeah, well, yeah, April 6th. Thank you, Howie,
That's
for being
okay.
on your
Pat-
toes.
Pat was
Oh, thanks, Pat.
giving you the eye.
So I'd just like to remind everyone that we do have an election, which is next Wednesday, the 18th. What are the hours of it, Pat?
12 to 9.
12 p.m.
12
to
noon.
9 p.m. at the town hall, the village election. And from there, water department, Heinz?
We treated 11,174,000 gallons of water this month, in the month of February. I had told the board that we are going to have a change order for the control panels, and that has been awarded, and we estimate the completion of this work by the end of April. As far as we have an issue with Triton filter units, which I had reported previously as well. We have ordered a replacement part for that for $4,900. And the people in the water plant have actually dug out and removed 20 cubic yards of material, filter material, to get at the under drains, and they had to remove them with buckets. That's the only way we could do it. It took us quite a while, but it's all done now, and we are looking forward to repairing that. Trying to figure out exactly how to repair it. Most likely we have to weld new panels on the bottom of the filter bed. I requested a quote for engineering support from Bernier and Larios, and I have had active discussions. Tom Wallbank and I had active discussions with him, and we are trying to figure out the best way to take the material out of the lagoon. It looks very promising, probably a bit less than what we thought it would be, but we are still working this, and within about 2 weeks or so I should have a better feel for you. The engineering costs are not going to be very high, I don't think. The cost of removal may be a bit more, but probably well below what we had thought in the beginning. As far as the water distribution system is concerned, we wanted to make some improvements to the system. We selected an engineering company to do that, and I have been working with them for the last 2 months, and I have supplied a lot of data to them, particularly flow data from the individual homes, so we get a good idea of what the hydraulic capability and needs are for this system. We have done that, or I have done that with data, billing data that I got from Pat, and we have essentially done what we call Zone 1, 2, and 4, and that is everything above South Street, including South Street. So we have data for that, and I have given that to the engineers, and they're modeling, and we should have results of that shortly. In a couple of, when we laid out the model and the areas that we wanted to model, it seemed that we could actually do the whole village for just a little bit more money, a few $1,000s more. I don't know exactly how many, but I have talked to Stantec. They will get back with me by the end of the week. They'll give me a price to do the rest of the village, so we know where all the pinch points are in the village. So we know where they are in the northern part of the village, north of South Street, and there's about 2/3 of the village, and the 1/3 below South Street we're going to do as well in the next few weeks. In a couple of weeks I will come back to you to ask for additional dollars to do a SEQR review, and also to about $10,500 for a boundary and topographic survey, which is needed to figure out where to place the lines once we know what we need. So that will come up in the next 2 weeks. I plan to attend a community economic development funding forum in Hudson, New York on the 18th, which happens to be election day, but I'll be back before 9 o'clock. And there's no fees involved, just mileage. We replaced 9 Neptune e-coders, not a lot this year. This month we had really bad weather and other issues that prevented us from doing more, but we stepped up the installation of it in the last few days. Lastly, I requested quotes from Springbrook for an integrated utility module for billing, a billing module, and for the water and sewer plant, for water and sewer billing, and including an automatic payment schedule, so we can take money right out of the bank accounts if people decide to do that, or for credit cards. That should be coming in the next few weeks as well. So I think that is all I have to say today.
Thank you, Heinz. Gary, wastewater?
The report for the wastewater treatment facility for February, there were 2,009,000 gallons of wastewater treated, 25,000 gallons of sludge processed, and 3,400 pounds of sludge processed for the month. Also, we had hired an engineering firm of Woodard and Curran to come in and review the wastewater process and look at the plant and make some recommendations to us. They have done that, and just to give a quick review, overall, I think the plant is in good shape and running well. The first recommendation, which came as a little bit of surprise, at least to me, was that the plant is running considerably below capacity, and they recommend that we shut down half of the treatment plant on a regular basis to save on energy and wear and tear. And we have two plants in the facility, two different oxidation ditches, and shutting down one at a time would also allow for full maintenance and cleaning, corrective measures to be taken. So I think we'll definitely move to do the cleaning. It also suggests that we have the additional capacity to look to the future for putting more people in the village on sewer service, should we decide to move in that direction. Their second recommendation was to install an improved wet well aerator that will allow for greater grease control. The third recommendation was to adjust the operating set points of the influent pumps for more reliable operation. Right now, it's what they call short cycling, where the electronics are going on and off very quickly. So if we adjust the operating set points, it will save us money and wear and tear again. They recommend that we install a new water plant water reuse system. We had one there, and it was removed during the last plant upgrade, so they've recommended that we at least investigate putting in a new reuse system. Frank, the engineer, estimated the cost there about $30,000, but that's a rough ballpark figure if we went to do that. They recommended implementing a CUPSS CUPS software that's provided free from the EPA that would facilitate daily reporting and asset management. So I've talked to Peter about downloading that software, and there is an engineer with this firm who's local who could help us get going on that if we, Peter or Billy needed any backup on that. And then they pointed us to a number of items in the state regulations, things that would be useful for us to know. That was their sixth recommendation, but that's a summary of the report.
So Gary, at one time, I think the wastewater had put capacity aside for the gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Was this addressed? Has the capacity set aside for the gardens is that included in here?
I believe so. We certainly discussed that with the engineers. They're aware that, and now the gardens is, they're more, how many?
There's another phase.
There's another phase, right,
yeah.
but.
I think they paid for the upgrade, and part of that capacity they probably own.
Yeah.
Right.
That unused capacity.
Right, yeah. So it was just, like I say, maybe others were more aware than I. That was a surprise because we had talked previously about the possibility of buying land adjacent to the facility for expansion. So I assumed we were probably near capacity, but we're not.
But I think we should understand what that capacity set aside was or is for the gardens.
Well, the engineers were
I believe it was included in the calculation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because it's
even with that, we are.
Yeah, I think even if, let's just say, that was 25% that we didn't calculate in here, that would still leave us 25% under capacity. So The good news is, we have some wiggle room that will allow us to do maintenance and cleaning when needed, and to explore other options.
What's nice about the duplicity of it all is that you could, if one side were to fail,
Right.
you could switch over, and so yeah.
Well, and I think they also suggested that the newer, I know one's called the EA and one's the Ox Ditch, I don't know which is which, but the newer one is more efficient, it can handle a greater load.
Right.
So there may be some potential, if we did not expand, geographically, maybe to move it over to the newer phase temporarily and replace the older, because it's almost two independent plants operating until it gets to the sludge press,
right.
really.
And I've gotten different opinions. The older ditch is working fine, so
Right.
we'll have to take a closer look to see if it makes sense to replace it. If we're not going to expand, in other words, after the gardens, if we're not going to look to expand sewer service, then I don't see why we would invest, it'd be $2 million to buy another newer plant.
So what I understand is that the two systems that you have, one of them, you can actually expand more by upgrading it. Is that what you're saying?
We could either keep the two plants and then use this opportunity to clean them. I think we certainly want to do that.
Yeah.
And then if we want to move to put more people living in the village, like myself, on the sewer system, then we could, the steps would be first to make sure they're both operable, but then either to replace the older one possibly and put, a newer plant with greater capacity, or just to upgrade the older one. There's nothing wrong functionally with the older one, it's just less efficient.
You might be able to increase capacity in the same footprint by going to newer technology.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How about the cover for the influent pit? Did we get the?
We haven't gotten, engineering firm came and looked at that, and they're gonna get back to us, and we would put that out for bid if that's something we decide.
And that's where the aerator, they're talking about the
Right.
improved aerator. So what happens is it freezes as it comes in from the community, and then, so in the winter, they have to put this, rigid styrofoam insulation, and they can't access anything underneath of it. So they're talking about building a structure
Right.
over top of it, so it would have, year-round access to the pit.
Which would also, we don't have, thankfully, big odor problems, but when we do have mild odor problems, that's where it comes from. So building a building would prevent most of that. And I was told the big thing about the building is to make sure that it's vented so it doesn't blow up.
So that's all
Methane
good new
gas.
news.
Yeah.
That's all good new news.
Yeah.
And the pumps would be similar to what we did with, at the water plant,
Right.
the variable pumps.
Variable speed.
Interesting to hear it come up so soon after the upgrade at the water plant.
There is one more project that has to go online, the proposed Rhinebeck Village
Village
Place.
Place?
Yeah,
Right.
Locust Grove, too.
Locust Grove too, yeah.
I think
That's when
those,
I was told it was like 5% of capacity when those projects were gonna be going in there. So I'm kind of surprised too.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
the upgrade was, I think, part and parcel to the gardens, right? A nearly $1 million upgrade to the plant.
all right.
Okay.
Scott?
The monthly call breakdown for the Village of Rhinebeck Fire Department, they responded to 20 EMS calls in the town and 30 in the village, provided mutual aid 4 times for a total of 54 EMS calls. The fire department responded to 5 calls in the town, 8 in the village, and provided mutual aid 5 times for a total of 18 calls. And then motor vehicle accidents, there was 4 in the town, 1 in the village, and for a total of 5. So they responded to 77 calls in the month of February. I just want to let you guys know I've been meeting weekly with the fire department to establish their budget. I just wanted to thank them. They all have been working very hard. To thank Chrissy and Bryant, Darren, and Kevin. It's not easy with all the lots of unfunded mandates, but we're working through it, and I just want to thank them for their time. Also, there's a commissioner's training at the end of this month that I will be attending, and just to make me a better fire commissioner.
Fantastic, you will enjoy it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And that's it for the fire department.
Okay. Go ahead, Howie, with the street, we'll give.
Highway Department. Okay, here's Mike's report. The Highway Department has been moving snow from the village roads, obviously. We had a lot of storms in the last month. Snow was also removed once from the main district, the business district. Mike says they got some complaints because of the time of the day that the snow was removed. We tried something new this year. We removed it during the day. They started, I think, around 5 o'clock in the morning. They were done at 8:30, so that was pretty quick. And the new Bobcat with the snow thrower on it helped out a lot.
So the complaints were just that people, it was rush hour? I'm just.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It
People
wasn't, we get complaints at night from, obviously,
Right.
restaurants, so no matter what time of the day you're going to do it, you're going to get complaints. I think we got a lot less complaints now, and it was done a lot more efficient in 3.5 hours as opposed to 5 or 6 hours.
Well, why would anybody complain at 8:30 in the morning?
I don't know. I'm just.
Morning breakfast, maybe, or they were, people going to work for 9 o'clock, might have got rerouted or hung up, but
Yeah.
it was only a section closed at a time. So.
Right.
Where did those complaints go? Did you get those, Matt?
I got a couple,
Did you?
but I think a lot of them went directly to Mike.
Okay.
Local businesses that were open early in the morning?
Yes, and people, yeah, most of it was businesses on East Market Street. And I thought it was later than 8:30 because it was blocked when I came to work. But,
You were probably early that day.
like you said, no matter what happens, you
I know.
Yeah, you're never going to please everybody.
With the new skid steer and the snow thrower, they're able to cut the roadsides to widen the roads to ease the traffic flow. The frost is causing road problems, heaving, and has happened all over the village, as well as state roads. They have been cold patching the potholes. They have been digging out buried catch basins as well as fire hydrants in the village. The trucks and the equipment are working well, knock on wood. Mike would like to remind people not to throw snow back onto the roads after plowing, as this is actually against the law. Please put your garbage cans way away from the road also after pickup, because doing this makes for better plow job. And Mike and I also would like to thank the Highway Department crew for doing a great job. It's been a long winter. That's it for the street department.
Well, sometimes I get a complaint or two on the street department too. I had a request to cut back on North Park where how we did on some of the other streets, so maybe we can add that. I haven't talked to Mike about that yet, but
Okay.
where the kids are walking,
Right.
especially the ones coming from the south side. They're not accessing the walk through the mini park, so if they cut that back. And I talked to Mike today about 2 other places I know South Parsonage, about maybe 18 months ago, we talked about it here, and we voted to stripe South Parsonage. Sound familiar?
Right, but we were going to look into see if we had.
Yeah, so Mike is going to check in again to see if we have the width to stripe it, so we can provide maybe potentially better safety for the pedestrians. It's a pretty heavily traveled
Right.
pedestrian thoroughfare.
Was it from one point to another? Or?
We're basically talking from South Street down to, what's that?
Mill Street, right?
Yeah, well, at least to Knollwood, maybe to Mill Street. There used to be a stripe there. But I guess there was a question whether we had enough width.
There's been some people removing sidewalks along South Parsonage Street as well. There used to be
Yes, there have.
used to be sidewalks on the east side.
Correct.
Took them out.
And then there's a couple of them that are still there, and a couple of them that were recently removed.
And plants put in,
Right, and
walls.
Yeah.
that's, yeah,
I mean, we should refer that to Mr. Fenton.
we will. Because, quite frankly, if the sidewalks were in place, we probably wouldn't have to stripe to allow for a
Right.
pedestrian way.
Correct. So that's definitely covered in the code. That's
Yep,
not
it is.
allowed. I also talked to Mike about the crosswalk on Knollwood Road that they put in.
Right.
So I asked him when weather permits to restripe it. I guess it's fading. And we also talked about the possibility of putting one of those, he's going to put some signs up, if that's, like we
Knollwood?
have on all the crosswalks
Yeah,
that show where it is. We also talked about the possibility of putting one of the in-road traffic, the pylons that we have.
Mhm.
So, and I just had an idea talking to him about it. It seems that maybe motorists become accustomed to seeing them in the same places, so I was wondering maybe if we reduced the number, instead of having all 4 out in the main, maybe if we went down to, 3 total in the village and we moved them around from week to week, so you don't become desensitized to it in the street, so if it looks like a new thing, it slows you down. I don't know.
Howie, North Park Road between
Yeah.
Violet and Route 9, and
South Parsons,
South Parsons. I'm wondering if there's something going on underground there.
Yeah, that's what I'd said. There might be some water.
Well, I don't know if it's water, but there are 3 or 4 places along that stretch that are like a well-bored. Really, really bad.
Where is it?
North Park, where the liquor store is.
Between South Parsonage and Violet.
Violet, yeah,
Now the storm drain on the corner there is also starting to sink in.
yeah,
I just saw that today.
And our new road on Rockefeller
coming apart.
is pretty bad shape. It's probably
I'm
6
wondering if
months
we
old now.
should do some exploratory digging there to find out what's going on. It may not be water lines, there may be something else settling there.
I wouldn't do anything yet. Well, we can't do anything
No,
till the
not
frost
now.
out of the ground.
Right. Yeah, I talked to Mike about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna wait till weather gets a little warmer. Might go down a little bit too. But that might be a good candidate for our CHIPS money this year. North Park Road right there.
It's short, it's only
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
200 feet or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that'd be the extra. Good?
Right, I'm good.
All right, well, speaking of pedestrian safety, this would be a great time for Dr. Tumalo to take the floor for us.
So, well, thanks for having me back here. I originally had this thing presented, I guess someone, I don't know if Pat brought it, or someone brought it to the meeting.
I presented it.
Oh, Heath
Yeah,
did, that's
yeah.
right, I met with you.
Yeah, you
That's
gave
right.
me the
Yes, I
stuff,
came
yep.
down and met with you, and then
Certainly.
you brought it to the meeting, and I got this idea when my son lives in Sun Valley, Idaho, and noticed that they had these crosswalk flags for safety in places where they didn't have traffic lights. And then living around the corner from the Terrapin, I noticed a lot of times being down there, how many people were crossing the road by the Terrapin and how many quick stops there were because people didn't see them coming from behind parked cars, and at night it's poorly lit. So I thought this might be a good idea, and I understand from the last meeting there had been some concerns that DOT wouldn't allow it or whatever, so, and then I subsequently received a letter from Pat that you wanted to do a trial on this. I did a little more research and found out that Sun Valley wasn't the first place. There was another place, I think in Montana, that was the first place it started, or Washington State. But I also found this article, and I'll give you this if you want to just read it. It's from Salt Lake City, adopted this. They now have, and I don't know the time of this is probably not a very recent posting. They have 134 crosswalks in Salt Lake City with these flags, and the last thing it said, the crosswalk program, along with several other pedestrian safety measures, resulted in a 31% decrease in crosswalk pedestrian injury and crashes. So I think it's something that it may work out for us. I'll just leave these here and you can look at them. The biggest issue I had with it was in Sun Valley, the holders for the flags were metal pipes that were welded and made into specific holders, and I went to look to a welder to talk about it, and it was going to be a little bit pricey. Then the ones in Salt Lake, there's one sheet there that's a little different. The one that's in landscape printing, I think that Scott has there, it shows the bucket on the other side, Scott, that'll show you. They just put these black buckets in there. Yep. So I started thinking about it, and I came up with another idea, and inexpensive, and I got some 4-inch PVC with 1-inch pipe, and I made this thing probably in about 15 or 20 minutes. just cut the pipe and glued these inside here. So this can be mounted on a pole or even on a signpost if there isn't a telephone pole. And then there's individual holders for the flags. And the flags that I purchased last year when I came up with the idea, these are the flags that they use. And I figured that's 7 holes in here, so if we put 4 on one side, 3 on the other, I mean, that should be enough. And these things just sit on the post. And there's a little sign, I just made a sign out of paper here to be sure you wanted what you wanted there. It says, for your safety, please carry a flag with you as you cross. And then I just put under there, crosswalk adopted by and flags courtesy of Rhinebeck Animal Hospital. So what they did in Salt Lake City is they started to get people to adopt the crosswalks or different businesses, and they would supply the flags, and actually the town bought the flags, and then when they needed more of those people who adopted the crosswalk would go and buy flags from the town and replace the ones that are missing. Yet some of them get stolen. I talked to the people in Ketchum, Idaho, where Sun Valley is, and she said that they probably go through like 30, 40 flags a year or something like that. But they're not real expensive, and to me that makes a lot of sense. I started thinking about over by Market Street, the new restaurant Market Street. People cross across there into the parking lot behind the Beekman Arms all the time, and it's a really wide street, and it's very poorly lit at night, and you don't see people. And those are the kind of places over by M&T Bank. People are crossing and coming out from behind the parked cars here. So there's a lot of places.
Are these reflecting?
No. I can tell you, you don't really, I thought initially of getting some reflective tape on here, but you carry something like this across the road and the car's coming down the road, even at night, they're gonna see this thing, So, and it's amazing when you go to Ketchum, Idaho, you just see people constantly back and forth, just carrying them across there. It just makes a lot of sense, and cars see them and avoids a, possible serious accident. I think someone was killed in that corner already. By the Terrapin. The only concern I have about the Terrapin crossing is that there's a crosswalk going across Route 9, and then there's one going over between Terrapin and Gigi's across Livingston Street, and I'm afraid people are going to carry them across that street and then have nowhere to put them when they get to the other side. So.
Well, I think maybe if we put them, maybe stage them on the other side of the.
Yeah.
Guess
Or
we'll
on the
see.
sign you could put even there as you cross Route 9.
Right.
Just put something on there, just so. But. I don't think it's an expensive thing to try out, and if you want me to go ahead, I'll make a couple of these holders. I made 2 of these holders, and I'll get a little sign made, and I figured a way that we can mount them to the telephone poles if we're allowed to. Are we allowed to do that, or we have to get
Probably not to the phone poles.
We might want to go with the sign that holds the.
Okay, because there aren't any, I don't think there's any signposts.
There should be the signpost that identifies the crosswalk with the down arrow and the person.
Is that a little further up, though?
Yeah, it's a little farther.
Yeah, it's not.
Should be right on it.
There's a no parking sign on the west side of Route 9 by the Terrapin. No parking from here to corner.
Well, we'd have to look and see.
Yeah, I don't think you can mount anything to poles. I think that's,
The telephone.
Yeah.
I mean,
We don't own them.
you'd probably have to get permission from Central
Might not
Hudson.
be that hard to do, but.
Yeah,
maybe we
may or may
ask.
not be,
That's the
but-
difference.
Ask him and just see.
Well, let's look and see what the best,
Yeah.
the best one is. If we can
I'll
get,
check it out and then we can talk.
yeah, I mean, if we can get away with one of our own street signs,
Yeah, that's
that
better.
may be simpler and easier.
Over by CVS too, there's the cross there, the crosswalk there is, and I think there's a signpost on either side there.
Okay.
That's another place where people are crossing with no,
so our trial is gonna be in every location we have a crosswalk, or we're gonna do a
No,
few?
I
Just
think
we're gonna do one
just-
at the Terrapin.
Just at
Okay.
the, yeah,
Okay.
just at that one, and I think we agreed on the dates were what, April 1st to July 1st?
Yeah.
I
I
think,
don't know if
was-
I'm gonna get this done by April 1st, because I might be out of town, but sometime in April.
well, you got a lot of the work done already.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So we just have to figure out where to mount it.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
simple.
we'll
Sounds
give it a
good.
try.
All right,
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You will.
Very thoughtful.
Thank you.
thank you, Dr. Tumalo. How about planning and zoning? Anything? Oh, do we have something else?
Well, there's the tree commission.
Oh.
We just got the report today, that's why it's
Oh,
not
that
on the
wasn't on
list.
there, yeah,
Did you guys read the tree commission report?
I did.
I happen to have it right here. I can go over some.
Some of the highlights for us?
Yeah, so,
You want it, Howie?
Oh, we got copies of it?
I think there's just one. Pat has it.
Okay,
You did? Oh.
okay. The main thing I have to report is that our tree commission, Commissioner Brian Del Pizzo, chairman, has resigned due to his wife's having another baby, and he just doesn't have time. So I'd like to thank Brian for his service, and he is going to help us do tree plantings when we have them. So we have to find 2 more people for the tree commission, and I think I found one today. I don't want to say his name yet, because he's not committed, but
Was he referenced in there?
Yeah, it is, his
Oh,
name is
okay.
referenced in here. So
Tom Cale?
we're still looking for another person
We
for the
should get
tree
Tom
commission.
Cale.
So if you love trees and just want to help out, we're looking forward to having you on the tree commission. You can call Pat at 876-7015 and give us your name, please. What else on here? The tree planting will be going on April 25th, I believe that's a Saturday, April 25th. So we're also looking for volunteers to help us with the tree planting. We need you, the mayor, to be there on the tree planting day. We have to take a picture of you. It's all part of Arbor Day.
Do we need to declare it, or have we done that already?
No, we have to do that for this year. This
Okay.
is the new year, 2015.
April 25th is Arbor Day, or no?
That's Arbor Day, but we're going to do the tree planting on April 26th, Saturday,
Which day is Arbor Day?
Friday.
24th?
25th, yeah.
So do you want to do
25th is
that?
Saturday.
Well, then this is wrong.
Okay.
They have this wrong
Okay,
here.
do you want to,
Okay.
My phone doesn't lie.
do
Okay.
you want to make our declaration of Arbor Day now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd like to, you want to do it? You're the mayor, so you,
I will do it.
Okay.
I just want to confirm the date.
Friday is the 24th, right?
Okay,
So this is.
so I would like to make a motion declaring Friday, April 24th as Arbor Day in the village of Rhinebeck.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'd also like to note that we did get a letter from the Arbor Day Foundation congratulating Rhinebeck on earning recognition as a 2014 Tree City USA. And I believe this is our 4th year. I might be off by a year, might be our 5th year. So if anybody's interested in joining the tree commission, we look forward to it. Thank you. That's it for the tree committee.
Planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning report for the month of February. They did 1 certificate of occupancy search. They issued 1 building permit. They took in 2 sign applications and 3 site plan applications, and 1 application to the zoning board for a variance. Gary, you want to report on the zoning commission, or? Again? Well, we have a draft. We have a draft of the zoning commission, and thank you to Colton Johnson, who very nicely took notes throughout all of the meetings that we had and has put together a draft. We're through the main document, and now we still have some work to do on the definitions. We're working on revising and adding to the definitions of our zoning code. We do have a printed draft that the zoning commission now is going to go through and refine and agree itself on those revisions. Once we do go through that process, which I suspect is probably just a week, we'll bring those drafts to the village board for their review. And I think from that juncture, we'll discuss public hearings. So this all will probably take place within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
And I just really want to thank Brent Nuniker, Colton Johnson, John Clark, Tim Decker, and Al DeCray. I mean, it's a long process.
And Gary and Scott, they were our representatives, so thank them
But
as well.
those guys not only go to planning and zoning meetings, they come to the zoning commission and help out with all this. But yeah, it's a tool that they use day in and day, at their meetings, and we're thankful to them for assisting us in updating that.
The long-range thinking and to protect the village is it's really impressive. These people really have the better interest of the village at heart. It's been an education for me.
Very good.
Okay.
The police report, we had 21 incidents in the town, 95 incidents in the village, 9 tickets in the town, 101 tickets in the village, a total of 2 arrests and 6 accidents. In terms of upcoming events, we have the Landsman Kill fish stocking event taking place on April 11th, which will require an increased police force out there, and then the Taste of Rhinebeck event, which will take place on April 14th. We'll have extra police on patrolling for that event as well. And that's all I have for the police department. Under special requests, we have a couple.
Can I get one more thing before we get?
You certainly can.
I'm sorry I missed this along the way. How are we doing with our Parks and Recreation Committee?
Oh, that was going to be another business, but
okay.
I will tell you now.
Because I have some more volunteers in case we're looking.
This is amazing. We were very slow on the recruitment trail, and we got to 3. We were stuck there, and now we have, I believe, 6 scheduled to come to a meeting on March 30th for our first meeting. I have another individual waiting in the wings. So hopefully we're
Wow.
on the way. How many volunteers do you have?
Husband and wife.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 2 people. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, how to go. Should they send a letter or?
Yeah, have them send a letter and we'll
Email you? Okay.
kind of.
And I'll get them invited to the meeting?
Well, yeah, what I told our goal was to have 5 village residents. Right now, we're 6 or 7, but, I want to assess the feel of it the first time and the commitment from the individuals. And, we may be looking for more additions or.
Okay, yeah.
So.
All right, I'll share
And
that.
if you have too
we'll
many,
propose.
maybe they'd be interested in a tree commission.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, this is new and exciting.
The tree commission's new and
Tom
exciting.
Cal's going to do the tree commission. Okay.
Yeah. Did you get his, you can get his contact information?
I'll share it with you, Howie.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So our special events here, we have the requests for the Fall Foliage Half Marathon, which would be held on October 11th, setting up at 7, breaking down at 2, with an estimated attendance of 1,000. And this is be the 3rd or 4th year for this event, which is,
And they started doing it now, their base is at the fairgrounds, correct?
yeah, it has been, I think, the last 2 years has been at the fairgrounds, and,
It's starting stuff there.
yeah, so, it's gone off, well, with no issues the last few times, so I will make the motion to approve this, event as requested.
A second.
Discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
It's kind of early, right?
What's that? The request, yeah, they put it in early, and they start planning. Actually, he comes to town a couple times a year, so he was just here and hand delivered it, so. The next one is kind of a notification here, but telling us from the Agricultural Society for the fairgrounds, letting us know that when they'll be closing the Mulberry Street from Platt. Basically for the antique car show, the antique motorcycle show, and the Dutchess County Fair. The dates as submitted, and these are not in addition to other, historically the same dates, they're always closed. And for the fair, I think there was a question that it looks like they're later extended it, but actually, from what I understand, they have always requested to close a couple of days after, but typically they're open back up by Monday.
Well, this is 2 weeks almost.
What day of the week's the 18th?
18th to the 1st, right? That's almost 2 weeks.
Do you know what day of the week the 18th is?
Which month?
For the
August.
For the Ag Society.
August 18th is a Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how many days they typically, but this, Pat, it lined up with the previous ones, I think we saw, right?
I didn't look at the previous.
Yeah.
I
All right.
seem to remember they typically have 6 or 7 days, but this one is 12.
Well, the fair is 5 days, and they have to have time to have
Well,
the,
the fair's,
Before and after.
yeah.
right, to have the equipment come in.
They're not changing it, right?
No, nothing's
Same
changed.
days.
And according to Andy, there's no difference. Maybe there's if anything, maybe there's a typo on the day. Maybe the 18th is too early. But, I would approve it, make a motion to approve pending confirmation of that. 18th is a start date.
Well, do we have to approve this?
It's a courtesy.
It's just
It's a-
Yeah,
well, it's a village
actually, well, the fairgrounds owns it, but not from Platt.
Right.
They own it from the
gate, right?
I think it's about where the Mulberry Gate is when the fair's open, like where the grandstand is. So really, we're approving that additional piece, basically half of that block. But they do own it from Route 9 over to the, like where the building is, where the police station used to be. So as a courtesy, I would like to make a motion to approve the dates as submitted.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We have a request from the Rhinebeck Center for Performing Arts, or the Center for Performing Arts, and this is something that's been done every year, I believe, the four banners on the corners to promote their Shakespeare Festival, and it has the dates, March 30th, April 27th, to hang their banners. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that request as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Thank you.
I have another one here from the Boy Scouts, just came in. I think this is the only copy. Requesting from May 3rd, from 12 to 6 p.m. for the Boy Scouts to use this room for an Eagle Court of Honor. So, do we know what day May 3rd is? Is that a Saturday?
May 3rd is a
Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay, so there shouldn't be anything in here. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The last one we have here is the request to hang the ribbons for NAMI, which is I want to make sure
Is that in here?
it's in here. I just want to make sure I got NAMI right. It's awareness mental illness, anti-stigma mental illness
Under
of the Hudson Valley. So they came and spoke to us last year, and they had the ribbons up.
Just like coin drops, I'm wondering if somehow, some way, there's lots of requests to hang and ribbons and this and that, and you know how we're
We're kind of trying to stay local.
trying to stay local.
We had a discussion the last time, and I think we decided.
Yeah, afterwards, I think we talked about this one, and the ribbons were kind of, they didn't seem to have that great of an impact. They were starting to fall down after a day or so, and you couldn't really identify what it was all about. So, I'm not going to make the motion to approve it, but I guess do you want to
Table it.
pull it? Gary?
What, can we table it? Is that what you're asking?
No, to pull it.
Oh,
Yes or no, up or down?
I would say yes.
Howie?
No.
No?
No.
So moved. No. We have another one from the Parkinson's Disease Support Group of the Mid-Hudson Valley asking us to Um, Declare April as Worldwide Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month. And since that,
Is this a ceremonial declaration?
yes, it is, yes. So, we will, we'll end up in the opinion section of joining the other communities. So I'd like to make a motion to designate April as Worldwide Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month in the Village of Rhinebeck.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Scott. I just want to see about this, under other business we had, and I don't have it in front of me, there was a resolution sent to us about PCBs in the Hudson. Is that in here, Pat?
No,
No?
I
Okay.
have it.
You what?
I have it.
And you have to read the whole thing.
Oh, no. Did everyone look at it? What?
I looked at it.
There's a water bill stapled to it. I have not read it. I don't know what everyone else
I sort of supported.
sort of. When do we have to, if we're gonna do it, do we know when it's, when they're talking about? Gary? I thought you were our expert on this now.
Thanks, no.
Okay. You want to table it, and we'll address it another time, since we didn't all look at it. No correspondence. How about the water and sewer adjustments?
Yeah, Pat, I assume you meant February here rather than January?
Yes, sorry.
I move to make a motion to accept the water and sewer adjustment as stated.
Second.
Discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, how about the minutes? Before we make any motions, anyone got any questions on those 3 dates?
Added Hines on there.
We fixed your? That was right? Okay,
Yes, I did.
okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted for February 5th, 10th, and 18th, all of 2015.
Second.
Discussion? All's in favor? Aye. Anybody got any other business?
Yeah, I just want to have a question here. Looking at the treasurer's report, and I'm sorry I
Yes.
didn't pick it up before.
Okay.
The last item's called escrow. I'm
Yes.
just wondering what that escrow is. Is this for the planning and
Yes.
zoning escrow?
I believe so. It's the escrow, our escrow account is for planning and zoning, correct?
Right,
For
the
most-
Knollwood is, I think, the engineering review.
Mhm.
The other one on planning was with the Kershaw application,
Okay.
Meaning most of the funds that we have in the bank are.
posted by the applicants to pay for.
Yeah.
Right.
Engineering
That's
review
what's for, yeah. So no, we can't spend it.
on the water department.
Well, on something,
Yeah.
from somebody on the water department.
So, nothing else?
Well, I wanted to ask Rich something about
Yes.
the tree commission. Were you able to look up a formula for paying for the removal of trees and the 50/50 split?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna expend village money, you're still gonna have to follow procurement policy. I mean, how you decide you wanna do it,
You mean getting three?
you have to get the quotes.
Right, we know that, but what about billing the customer and, do we have the tree company bill the customer and then
And then reimburse is the
them.
best way to do it.
And then we reimburse the customer for half? Okay.
So would the customer solicit the bids?
And you'd have to have your approval too.
Right, okay.
So it's up to the customer to solicit the bids?
Be the easiest way, have them do it, make a contract, but then it's gotta be subject to your approval, because you're spending the
Right.
village funds on, to ensure that you're getting the lowest bid.
So do we have to prove the subcontractors are soliciting for bids?
Well, the bid amount, I mean, if they're gonna go out and you wanna make sure they're not just hiring their cousin to make, you know.
Right. So basically, we'd have to approve the subcontractors that they're soliciting.
Right. Okay.
Anything else? I don't think we have any topic for executive session tonight, so,
They don't?
do you have anything?
No, it's good, it's early.
Yeah,
Gee.
good one. So I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second?
Discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I already told my wife,
So adjourned.
I'm gonna be home late.